Hey there, this video, I am going to go through the syllabus for our course. I have created some other content that goes through some of this in more detail, so I'm not going to go through all of it in great detail if I have talked about it in other videos. It's just, hoping to try to save you some time. One thing I do want to mention about all of these videos, because I do try to record quite a few for the course, is that at the very bottom of your screen, you should be able to look at the settings and you can actually increase the speed of the videos. So I talk kind of fast, but you can increase it. So you could do 1.5 times or twice as fast. So if I record a 10-minute video, if you do it twice as fast, to just hear key points, it might only take you 5 minutes to listen to it. So it's totally up to you on how you want to do that. Sometimes I'll do that and then I'll hit pause, and then I'll slow it down when I know that they're talking about something that I really need to pay attention to. So maybe a tip for getting through course content. So here is our syllabus for the course. I like to hold things in my hand, so I print mine out. I would suggest doing the same, or at least saving this to a place where you can refer to it often. Also, you want to save this because when you go to apply for your license, there's a chance that you want to save all of your syllabi. If the board comes back and says, hey, we want to see what this course looked like or has questions about it, you can actually just, what they're looking for generally is the syllabi or course timeline. So keep this for them. So course description. Like I said, I talk about the course description in another video, so I'm going to scroll through it here. I do want to say you want to read through this entire document, skim through it, get familiar with it. This is kind of our contract. This is how we're going to be successful with each other throughout this semester. Our learning goals, again, I talk about that in a different video. So here's our assessment of student learning goals. That's a fancy way of saying, how am I going to get graded in this class? Because our grades really, our assignments are built on what do I want you to learn in this class? What do you want to take away? And are you engaging in that? So this is by order, all of the assignments for the class. So there's a group office hour, an introduction and communication forum, a quiz week 1. There's discussion forums and exams then throughout the rest of the semester. And I will talk about each one of those individually as we get going throughout the semester. One thing to notice here is there are a few stars. So the week 11 discussion forum, week 14, week 15, and the module 5 exam. What you'll notice is that these are worth more points, like module 5 exam is worth more points than the other exams. And forums 11, 14, and 15 are worth twice as many points as the other forums. And that's because those assignments are more substantial. They require more work from you, so they're worth more points. So just paying attention to that, like, ooh, I want to make sure that I'm not missing one of those forums where it's going to hurt my grade more if I miss it. I talk about what a successful assignment is in another video, so I just want to let you know that this is an excellent guideline for how to write a successful assignment, how to write a successful email, all of those things. So just if you have questions about, well, what do you mean by academic language or professional language? Drop me an email, use the forum on, use the homepage forum. We're all learning in this together. I don't expect you to have this down yet. That's what we're doing in this course is we're working on that together. So you're going to get feedback on it. And if you have questions about it, ask me. That's what we're here for. I want to give you that feedback. So there are, again, I talk about this, there's discussion forums, exams, and group office hours. So here are more details about what is required for each of those. I will be doing a video for every single one of those things. So I'm not going to go through it in detail here, but please read through it. Attendance and participation is critical to doing well in this course. While there's no grade for it, if you're not engaging in the Moodle shell multiple times a week, you're not going to do very well in the class. The class really requires more than 3 hours a week of your engagement. So I would set aside that time like you were actually attending class. If you have an accommodation through the Office for Disability Equity, please email those to me ASAP. I want them. I want to work with you. I do. I want to work with you. And it's always easier if we start the beginning of the class. I had a student who last semester who struggled and struggled and struggled. And it wasn't until we were going into the last assignment where she mentioned that she had an accommodation. And I was like, wait a second, you never sent that to me. I like looked, I said, I don't have that. She never sent it to me. And if she would have sent it to me, her semester would have looked a lot different. So just so you know, I do want those early. I want them whenever, but I would prefer to have them early because I think that it sets both of us up for you to have a richer learning experience in the course. Late and makeup work. So I do want to talk about this one in depth here. I don't accept late assignments. I don't accept makeup work. And that is because as a workforce development program, as social or as addiction counselors, we're not allowed to be late. If I'm late writing an assessment for a client that for the court, that means that they might not get their driver's license. They might not get their kids back. They might be arrested. They might go to jail, all because my documentation is behind. So I don't, maybe the auditor is coming and they're auditing and my files aren't done and they're behind. So now my organization has to pay back a bunch of money for services that we billed for, but I never wrote the notes for them. So they're going to take back that money. These are all actual real things that have happened because documentation has been behind. They're not extreme examples. They're really possible. So I'm a stickler. And I'm a stickler. Things need to be done on time, especially forums. If you're not posting your forums on time, how are we going to have those discussions? And then there's my exception to it. We are all people. So even in real life where these consequences could happen, if we're communicating with our supervisors and we're communicating with our programs about, hey, I'm behind on my paperwork. This is why, can I have some time? We can work with those things. So the same thing is true for this class. If you have unexpected circumstances and emergencies, I'm going to make an exception. Like it's realistic. That's what happens in life. So what you need to do is be proactive and ahead of time, send me an email that says, Katie, this is what's going on. And if you send me an email to request an exception or to this policy or an extension, this is what you need to do. You need to send an email request prior to the assignment due date. It needs to include an appropriate subject line. So that is CAS 242, and then your topic, request for an extension on discussion question 2. The reason for my request, hi, Katie, this is what's going on. I would like a request. You need to send me a draft of your assignment in progress. I want to know that you've started thinking about it, working on it. Like I want to see it. I need to see that you've done something. And it doesn't have to be in final draft form. It can be notes, but I need to see some sort of progress on that. You need to include documentation if the request is related to an emergency, an illness or injury, a religious observant participation in a university-sponsored activity, or are engaged in military service. This documentation allows me to make it if you have this documentation, I'm more likely to accept your request. Also, if it's a documented, if these things are documented, I won't take points off. And then you also need to include your proposed plan to complete the missing work, including a proposed revised due date. So Katie, I'm going to be working on it during these times. This is my plan. This is how I'm going to accomplish it. And I will have it done by this date. You'll send that to me and I will review it. If you do not include all of this information, I will not approve your request. So if your request is approved, you will incur an automatic 5% point deduction for each day following the due date. So if something is due at 11:59 p.m. and you turn it in at 12:02, guess what? It's late. So you need to turn it in on time. If you're a minute late, you're a day late, so don't be late. If you have a documented emergency or what I outlined above, there's not a point deduction. If it is an emergency that does not allow for prior notification, you know, those things happen. Katie, you know, I was hospitalized. You need to notify me within 48 hours of the missed deadline. Assignments later than 1 week will not be accepted. So this course builds on each other. We really need to stay on top of this for each other. Also, technical issues are not valid excuses for turning work in late. It's important that you have reliable access to your technology. These other things I'm not going to go over in depth: drop policy, incomplete policy, student code of conduct, and other student resources. I want you to read through those and just make yourself familiar with those topics. I do want to talk about the course calendar. So when I print out this document, I actually take the course calendar and I put it on top because this is what I'm going to be working with all the time. This tells me what I'm doing, when things are due, and where to find the information. So it's set up. Week 1, module 1 starts. We're in week 1 from August 29th through September 2nd. We're doing a welcome and orientation week. So I'm going to read and watch. Everything is posted to Moodle, content from the homepage, the week 1 Moodle page. So you'll see that as you navigate Moodle. So this is the content I'm engaging in. These are the assignments that are due this week. And this is when these assignments are due. So that's how this entire document is set up. Week 2, the dates of week 2, the course content, the assignments that I have, and when those assignments are due. This also, if I go back to those group office hours, be sure to put these on your calendar. There are 3 offered throughout the semester, once during week 2, once during week 4, and once during week 7. They're all different days and different times, with the idea that hopefully one of those works in your schedule. If it does not work in your schedule, you need to email me before September 7th to tell me why all of those dates don't work, include documentation, and we will figure something else out. You do need to attend one of those. So it's an hour. So familiarize yourself with this course timeline. This is what we're going to be doing throughout the entire semester so that you can plan your time appropriately. So that's it for this video. If you are reading through this document, if you have questions about it, please ask them. Like I said, the only way you're communicating wrong in this class is if you are not communicating. So send me those questions. I'll get them answered. Thanks, everybody.